Today I messed up by making my world-class chef girlfriend the perfect toastie. This happened about a month ago, but I'm still processing the absurdity of it all as I'm making her toastie. So, my girlfriend is basically a goddess tier chef. She's worked at restaurants that people literally book flights to visit. We are talking the kind of place where you need to make reservations months in advance. She once turned down a job of her some rating authorities consider one of the best restaurants in the world because she ate there as a customer first and decided their garden salad was uninspired and their waste stuff were weird. Your girlfriend sounds awesome. When we moved in together, I quickly learned that despite being a decent cook myself, I was now living with someone who could probably make roadkill taste like Wagyu beef. She has opinions about salt types and doesn't want me touching her fancy cookware. I love cooking, but I'm not about to go to war with someone who makes dishes with love hearts made of sauce, reduction, foam. That's very wise of you. So I gracefully stepped aside and let her handle the kitchen duties at home. If this is what both of you want, awesome. Fast forward to last month. She's on her period, feeling like absolute garbage, and asked me to make her tomato toastie, grilled cheese for you Americans. Simple request, right? I figured even I can't mess up butter, bread, tomato, and cheese. So I make her this completely basic toastie, nothing fancy, just sourdough, some good aged cheddar, butter both sides, medium heat, flip once. Sounds absolutely delicious. Standard stuff that literally any functioning adult should be able to do. She takes one bite and goes completely silent. I'm thinking I somehow managed to offend her palate with my peasant level toasty skills. That's so adorable. Then she looks at me with genuine confusion and says, I can't make it this good. That is a huge compliment. I laughed because I thought she was joking. This woman can do things with molecular gastronomy that would make Heston Blumenthal weep. She's forgotten more about food than I'll ever know. There's no way she can make a better toastie than me. But here's where I messed up. I was wrong. How can you mess this up? For the past month, she's been asking me to make her toasties almost every single day. Yesterday, she literally came home from work where she probably spent 12 hours creating culinary masterpieces that cost more per plate than most people's weekly groceries. And the first thing she said was, "Can you make me the toastie?" I've created a monster. This woman who can taste a soup and read all of all the ingredients in it can't figure out how to make melted cheese between bread as well as I can. Well, my darling, this is probably one of the biggest compliments you will ever receive in life. The worst part? I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing differently. I've tried telling her my technique, but it's literally just making a toastie. There's no secret, I'm not doing anything special. But somehow my basic-ass toasty game has broken the brain of someone who could probably cook circles around most professional chefs. I mean, you should enjoy this. Now, I'm trapped in this weird situation where I'm too afraid to refuse because she gets genuinely excited about these toasties. But also, I'm pretty sure I accidentally insulted her entire professional identity with my superior bread and cheese skills. Come on, surely not. The irony is not lost on me that the only thing I can cook better than her is something that requires literally no skill whatsoever. Sometimes the fanciest dish cannot compare with something made with love. I think she loves the toastie because it's from you. And now she is the queen of Michelin stars and you are the king of toastie. The perfect pair. Let's see what people think in the comment section of this delicious story. Things made by love for you have a way of tasting better regardless of the quality. I think it's just love and attention. Even professional chefs enjoy having someone else cook for them. It just feels good to know someone cared enough to do so. She likes it because you made it, not because it's necessarily better than what she could do. Take it as a massive compliment that she loves you so much. Exactly, I don't think you messed anything up. Just keep making her toasties. Let's go to the next story. Today I messed up by trying to break out my body out of jail. It worked. For a minute. What do you mean by that? This is a story of a jailbreak that actually worked. for about a minute. It happened years ago. I won't share certain specifics and I use fake names, but this was the most epic screw up I have ever been part of and it was mine. Okay, I'm very excited for this story. It sounds awesome. At the time, I was in the military stationed stateside. One night, a group of buddies and I discovered Jaeger bombs. Round after round, we kept them coming, and before we knew it, the night had flown by. My friend Brian offered to drive my roommate and me back to our off-base apartment. We didn't make it far. A car full of three 21-year-olds leaving at a bar 2 a.m. near a military base that drew police attention. We got pulled over, and as soon as the officer reached Brian's window, it was clear we were drunk. All of us admitted it. Brian blew into the breathalyzer and fell instantly. He was cuffed and placed in the back of the patrol car. Then the officer turned to my roommate and me. He explained that if one of us blew under the limit, we could drive Brian's car home and save him the impound fees. We both tried, we both failed. Jaeger bombs? Of course we both failed. Here's where it gets weird. The officer left us with Brian's car and the keys. Then he drove us with Brian to book him into the local jail. To this day, I have no idea why he left us like that. Yeah, that sounds super weird. What you are guys supposed to do? You both drunk, you cannot drive, obviously. About 20 minutes later, my roommate and I had what seemed like a brilliant idea. A quick note, this all happened years ago, back when DUI penalties were just starting to become as serious as they are today. We were young, reckless, and unbelievably stupid. Oh my god, I cannot imagine what's coming now. I don't condone drinking and driving in any way, and I'm grateful that nobody was hurt. Now back to the bad ideas. Both my roommate and I were military police officers. We felt guilty for letting Brian drive us, and now he was in trouble. So, with zero judgment, we decided to drive Brian's car back to our apartment ourselves. It wasn't far, but that doesn't excuse the stupidity. It looks like at least you learned from it. And then, somewhere between leaving the bar and arriving home, we came up with the ultimate plan. We were going to break Brian out of jail. Sir, is your real name Michael Schofield? You can tell me. The master plan. Here's how it went down, step by step. Return Brian's car to our apartment. Brush our teeth, popping gum, shave, and get into our military police uniforms. Put on our guard belts to look like we were on duty. Call my precinct's dispatch and ask them not to contact the jail Brian was at. Every night, the command checked local jails for military members. Luckily, I knew the dispatcher on duty and he owed me a big favor. He agreed without asking questions. Called the jail directly, pretending to be my command. I asked if any military members were in custody. They confirmed Brian was there. I then asked if we could come take him into custody. They said yes. Please don't tell me that you're gonna drive drunk again. Switch cars, leave Brian's car at the apartment, and take one of our own. Give ourselves one last pep talk, then head out. We pulled into the jail parking lot around 4 a.m. It was completely empty. We buzzed at the entrance, explained we were there to take custody of Brian, and were told okay. 25 of the longest minutes of my life later, a loud buzzer sounded. The heavy metal door slid open, and there stood two corrections officers and Brian in handcuffs. The look on his face was priceless, jaw dropped, pale as a ghost. Who can blame him? I don't even know how I would react. I told the officers I'd put my own cuffs on him so they could take theirs back. I even gave him a pat down before swapping them out. And just like that, Brian was in my custody. We thanked the officers, walked him out, and handed across the lot toward our car, hearts pounding. That's when my roommate whispered, "Don't get in the car, don't get in the car." I turned around to see the arresting officer standing behind us. Of course he was. He looked us dead in the eye and asked, "Aren't you the two passengers from the vehicle I pulled over tonight?" Busted. Our luck had run out. The lot had been empty when we arrived, but while we were inside waiting, the arresting officer had pulled in and was sitting in his patrol car doing paperwork. He watched us walk out Brian out of jail like it was nothing. You can guess what happened next. We all went to jail. But At least you didn't leave your body in trouble alone. By 8 a.m., our command came to get us. Back at base, I was told to go home, pack my things, and be ready because this wasn't going to end well. The next day, I returned and didn't leave base for 45 days until we deployed again. The fallout. I was punished to the fullest extent of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. I disappointed a lot of people and I carried the shame, but at the same time, I was infamous. Was what you guys did bad? Yeah. Was it also kind of hilarious? Also, yeah. Word spread fast, everyone knew about the failed jailbreak, and for better or worse, it made us celebrities. People said we embodied loyalty. You had to admire the audacity, even if the execution was insane. This has perfectly explained the circumstances. Thankfully, this didn't end my career. I served my enlistment honorably, and I never screwed up like that again. I bet secretly everyone thought this was hilarious anyway. Looking back now, it was crazy, reckless, and absolutely stupid, but it's also one of those wild stories that remind me of the bonds we had as brothers in arms. Yeah, you definitely have a very unique and amazing story. Honestly, this feels like the dumbest genius ideas I ever heard in my life. Completely reckless, but I love the loyalty. And the audacity alone deserves the respect. Let's see some comments about this. If this was a movie, I'd watch it. I would watch this as well, it's hilarious. Leave no one behind, right? I like to think that the superior officers were proud that you would go above and beyond for your fellow soldiers, but couldn't say that outwardly because it was illegal. Yeah, I think that too. I think everybody thought this was kinda hilarious and kinda stupid, but obviously they couldn't say their real opinion. Anyway, next story. Today I messed up by unintentionally making my girlfriend's parents think I'm mentally handicapped during a family dinner. For context, I'm the guardian of my autistic sister. She masks very well in public to the point of passing being normal. But when she's not masking, she can look really bratty at best and downright weird to other people at worst. I don't care. The goofball is my sister and I love her. Anyways, when I go on dates, she hangs out with friends she can trust to partially unmask with. But things came up for them, and this dinner I was invited to lined up with the time where her friends were all unavailable. I wanted to reschedule, but my girlfriend gave me a half apologetic, half worried look. This was with her parents, and her parents weren't the type to bend and reschedule unless I was in the hospital or something. I love the flexibility. I was already worried about meeting them before. I knew that they weren't exactly the warm and fuzzy type of people from the story she told. They were very much a product of their time, to say the least. But if they wanted me to come, I had to bring my sister. My sister was fine with coming along, well, until we actually got there. The three of us went, and my god, it was awkward. My girlfriend had already briefed them about my situation. They knew I was my sister's guardian, and they knew she was autistic. But what they didn't know was that autistic people can be functioning humans. When they introduced themselves to her, it was as if they were talking to a baby with their voices slow and highly pitched. Ooh, I feel uncomfy. My girlfriend cringed. I cringed too, and reiterated to them that my sister isn't like the autistic kids they're thinking of. My sister even shocked them by awkwardly laughing and introducing herself normally. Apparently, my girlfriend has been trying to tell them for months that she can mask, but they didn't quite understand what that meant until literally now. Well, kind of. They still had their own idea of how an autistic person should act. Of course, neither me or my sister wanted to be rude, and we tried being polite. But man, was their assumptions grating. On top of interrogating me about my job, they kept bringing up that it's okay for my sister to unmask. No, it's okay for her what she feels it's okay, not what you allow her to do. Of course, she didn't. She wasn't comfortable. She eventually excused herself and I followed her. As we left, I overheard my girlfriend berating her parents for being so rude. I'm glad that your girlfriend stood up for you. We went outside and I confronted my sister. She was not having a good time here, and wanted to go home. I agreed, and to make her feel better, we joked about what she'd look like to them unmasking. And since both of us are meme posters, we pretended to be stereotypical autistic kids that my girlfriend's parents were definitely thinking of. To mess up, we kept up the act a bit too long, and my girlfriend and her dad walked out on us looking like idiots. Something clicked in his head, and he started giving me that stay away from my daughter vibe. I let him know that my sister wasn't feeling well and we were gonna head out. He gruffly agreed. And before my girlfriend could come with us, her dad told her to stay. They had something to discuss. All my girlfriend could do was give me the "I'm so freaking sorry" look. The next day, me and my girlfriend met up, and she looked so done with life. Apparently, after me and my sister left, her family got into a huge argument about me dating her. Her parents are convinced that I was masking being autistic too, and that we shouldn't be dating. They didn't want to have grandkids like us. Not like that would be an issue for more reasons than one. Well, you have to decide if you want to marry into this family, because I don't think it would be easier in the future either. Maybe on one point they're gonna understand the situation, but after the impression you gave them, I don't think they will ever change their mind about you. Safe to say, I don't think I have her parents' blessing. Yeah, unfortunately you don't. And won't be anytime soon. Luckily, she doesn't really care and she's on my side. But I would have liked to have been on her parents' good side before I popped the question with my girlfriend. Even I didn't have to interact with them. Yeah, as I said earlier, if you wanna marry into this family, I think you're always gonna have problems. The only solution that can be is if your girlfriend willing to go low contact with her parents. But obviously, this is not something you can ask from her. That's a decision that she has to make for herself. I'm glad she's on your side, but this is a very difficult situation. We're gonna check some of the comments. You're a damn good brother and your girlfriend seems very cool too. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't get on well with a partner's parent, but that's okay because you and your girl are all that matter in your relationship. They aren't a product of their time. They are willingly ignorant a-holes. Good luck, brother. Yeah, I have to agree with this. Just because you're from an older generation, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't educate yourself. Gotta warn you though, if you expect to be with your girlfriend for a long time, unless she goes low to no contact with them, they're gonna make your life a living hell. Yeah, this is what I said earlier, but I guess you're gonna see what's gonna happen in the future. Today I messed up by not knowing who I was talking to at work. Classic. This just happened, and I don't think there will be repercussions, but it still doesn't look good. I was delivering papers to the mailroom at work, and afterwards I decided to swing by the bathroom before heading back to work and to waste a little time. On my way to the bathroom, a lady cheerfully asked me how I was doing, and I said, "Meh, it's alright, I guess." Usually that's good enough, but she replied, "Only meh? How come?" So I replied with, "Well, personal life isn't great." And then I spent 8 hours at a place I don't like for less pay than I'd like, so I don't know. And shrugged. She replied now you would expect with, "Oh, okay, well I hope it gets better." Well, what I forgot was the mail room is in the same floor as the executive offices, and an employee further down the hall who's seen our interaction informed me that I just spoken with the COO of the company. Dude, no. You cannot be dishonest at work, especially with people you don't even know who they are. Probably nothing will happen, but I hope you learned from this. 1% chance they fire you, 3% chance you get a raise. That's one way to get noticed by leadership. Is it good attention though? I'm not so sure about that. Please, tell me you are a teenager and not an adult. Well, I would assume OP is very young and this is probably their first job. It is kind of funny though. Today I messed up by showing my girlfriend my actual strength. Standard, this did not happen today, actually a few years back. So when my then girlfriend and I started dating, I discovered early on that she can be quite physical, in the sense that she likes to push, hold, punch even. Bear in mind, she is not actually trying to hurt me. She is just playful like that. I found this both adorable and fun, so I played along. And here is the mess up. If she pushed me, I would act like I had to balance myself, or if the bed/sofa was nearby, I would fall onto it. If I pushed her and she resisted, I would pretend it was hard work, same with me, holding her arms, etc. You get the idea. I get the idea, but in the same time, I feel like this is easily can cross a line that you cannot come back from. Anyway, go on. I always assumed she knew I was playing along and not actually physically straining myself to compare with her strength. This went on for months. One day, we were chilling on the sofa, watching a show when I realized I was running late to meet some friends. I told her I need to shower and make a move. She decided this was a good time for a play fight. She sat on top of me to pin my arms under her knees. I played along and struggled to move her off me. A little more wrestling took place with me playing along like I do. Then I told her I really need to make a move. She was not done and continued to hold/push me back onto the sofa. Eventually, I decided I need to win this little fight and get going. So I got her onto her back, held her hands near her head, and leaned down to kiss her on the cheeks a few times and let her know again that I'm running late. She tried to move her arms and could not. While struggling, she grounded out, "Why are you so strong today?" I laughed, mess up number 2, and looked at her like she was joking. Her eyes went wide with comprehension and she stopped struggling. "You are always this strong?" And she asked almost to herself. "Come on, babe, you did not really think we were of equal strength, did you?" I replied. I then went to take a shower, got ready, and as I was heading out the door, I noticed that she might have been a little glum. Me, being fully aware that I do not fully comprehend the mystery of female emotions, had no clue why she was so upset. I did what all men do, I guessed. I gave her a kiss and said I won't be gone for long and that I can pick up her favorite Chinese on the way back. I assumed she was upset about me not spending the afternoon with her. No reply, mess up number 3. I should have spent some time talking it through. I instead went on my merry way and had a great freaking time with my friends. She spent the next few hours burying, simmering, seething, and of course, overthinking. I came home with the Chinese, and as soon as I put it down on the dining table, she sprung out of the corner and attacked me. She struggled with more force than she normally would, and I just held her and kept asking what was wrong. She gritted her teeth and said, "You lied to me." Eventually, she stopped trying to fight me, and I let her go. She then told me how she feels like I lied to her about our fights, and that really all the time I was laughing at her in my head as I pretended that she was actually winning. I tried to take the conversation seriously, but come on, how am I supposed to take this seriously? So I may have been somewhat mocking, flirting, and genuinely being an arse about the whole thing. A week later, she broke up with me. The actual mess up wasn't that you were stronger, but that you were laughing at the wrong moment. To her, that confirmed that you were mocking her all along. That is more about her insecurity than your mess up. But in the same time, this could have ended up way worse. Let's read some comments. So, OP clearly didn't realize they were in a relationship with Vegeta. My friend pretended he's left-handed for months and his girlfriend was super mad when she found out. Yeah, it's about the lying. This happened with my wife after the first year of our relationship. We would play fight and I would go really easy on her. Then we moved in together. She watched me lift up the couch one-handed to vacuum underneath, and then we had a talk. I wouldn't think a man would be weaker than me, but just stay honest. Anyway, I hope you guys had fun. Please subscribe and see you in the next time.